Success Insight shares the stories of the people with passion and drive who make things happen in the world. Here's your host, Howard Fox.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Small Business Series on the Success Insight podcast. The Small Business Series celebrates the founders and owners of small businesses and the people working for the company to deliver exceptional products and services. Our guest today is Nicole Ellis. Nicky is a vegan food YouTuber and founder of Nicky's Savory Vegan Eats. She is a career consultant and a vegan food culinarian. Her ideal clients are folks that are focusing on health and wellness in their everyday lifestyles. And Nicky is known for crafting new and savory creative dishes. Nicky, welcome to the Small Business Series on the Success Insight podcast.
Thank you so much, Howard. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to this interview with you.
Fantastic. And for our listeners, in my usual spirit of full disclosure, Nicky is here in Las Vegas with me. And I also know Nicky because we work together. You recall I had said career consultant, said we work together in that side of our lives. But I have gotten to know Nicky for her food blogging and the vegan food culinarian that she is. And so what a great way to bring somebody new and talented onto the show and kind of hear about her journey that she's on. So Nicky, again, welcome. And how are things going for you?
Things are fabulous or fantabulous, Howard.
Fantabulous. I love that.
Yeah, no complaints here. Everything is wonderful. It's amazing because I started my vegan brand, Nicky's Savory Vegan Eats, literally 2 years ago, 2 months after the pandemic took place. And it was a backstory with that is I'm originally from Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago.
Just like you. There you go. And I had some health problems. So I used to ski for 5 years in Wisconsin, had a ski accident, and I had 2 torn meniscus and a hyperextended knee.
Oh boy.
Where my knee bends backwards beyond the range of motion. So in the process, I went through my little phase of feeling sorry for myself. I gained additional weight. I saw the best doctors and surgeons that actually service the Chicago Bulls and Bears. And they said, hey, you have to kind of lay off with the weights, get the weight down, have physical therapy. It kind of went through one ear and out the other, Howard, because I'm a foodie.
Yeah. Oh, so I have a question, and I get this statement and I hear it in other areas of the work that I do in the podcasting. But when the doctor says, Nicky, you have to cut out the weight, do they follow that up with advice? What did they do?
So it's interesting enough. That's a great question, Howard. There was not like a meal plan or a meal prep plan, dietary plan that they gave me. So there's really no instructions. It's just, you got to lose the weight, maybe do some exercising, but nothing that was laying out to say, hey, this is going to actually help alleviate the pain and stress from your knee. So I had to figure it out for myself. When my husband and I decided to move to Las Vegas, I also had pleurisy. So pleurisy is when you have fluid on the lining of your lungs.
Oh boy.
And I ended up in the emergency room several times. So I had these pre-existing health issues, Howard, moved to Las Vegas, the pandemic took place, and I had just came back from Spain and Morocco, went solo, because I'm also a travel blogger.
Yeah.
So I came back 2 days later, passed out on our bathroom floor, and my husband heard me, took me to the emergency room, and they said, guess what? You're going to have emergency surgery now. You have 7 gallstones inflamed in your gallbladder. They'd have to be removed immediately.
Oh my.
So with all of what was going on with me, and then the pandemic hit, it was like a small voice telling me, you need to change your eating habits for good. Lay off the Italian beef sandwiches from Portillo's in Chicago that you've had for so many decades.
Oh, that when I pass a delicatessen and I can't have a pastrami on rye with Swiss cheese and coleslaw, I feel the pain there. So is this then literally how you decided to become a vegan, or was this just like the spark that again started this journey for you?
I would say that it was a little bit of both, if that makes sense. The pandemic with basically everything that was in the news about pre-existing conditions, I have to admit I was a little bit concerned. I got a little fearful, and I knew I was actually overweight for my body frame. And I wanted to eat healthier prior to. I just got kind of tired of eating meat, and dairy was never a friend of mine anyway. So I said, I'm just going to go ahead and just try to cut out the meats and dairy. and not even tell anyone, Howard. Even I didn't even like look to ask my husband to be vegan with me or try it. I just decided. And I started just basically, I went kind of cold turkey. I went off the remainder of the meats in our freezer. And before you know it, I started learning how to cook vegan foods from getting inspiration from Pinterest and other vegan food YouTubers. And one day my husband was in the kitchen and was looking at me and he was admiring me put together these vegan meals. And he's like, I have a little vegan chef in the kitchen.
Look at that.
And before you know it, I got responses on my social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, and decided to go ahead and make a YouTube channel to show people what I've learned and went from there.
So you had the YouTube channel and the Instagram. Was that predominantly for the travel portion of your life and the work that you had been doing?
It was.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you had building an audience there. By the way, Spain and Morocco. Thank you very much. I have friends that just got back from Spain. I have another set of friends that are going there, and I love Las Vegas, but I need a good international trip under my belt right now. But those
Yeah.
would be good. So you have this audience that you have been cultivating through the travels.
Mhm.
It seems like as you, and I have no doubt, well, in fact, again, I know you, whatever you set your mind to, it's going to happen. Great, open, growth mindset. The shift then to exploring the vegan meals and then creating this YouTube channel, what was that journey like for you? Was it just kind of become natural and it just kind of build the airplane as you fly it, or did you go through some growth pains?
Little natural and then growth pains. So I had a pre-existing travel YouTube channel, Nicky Savory Travels. And I think to this day I have about 168 subscribers compared to my vegan food YouTube channel. I have over 1,800 plus.
Oh my God.
So the proof is in the pudding on where I really need to focus on. But I
Sure.
have that and I have my website and Instagram. So I already felt like that the travel industry was a little bit oversaturated with travel bloggers, Howard. And I
Hmm.
really, even though I really want to focus on my niche of savory vegan foods, eating savory vegan foods around the world, I wanted to have something really unique. And honestly, I just didn't feel my niche was unique enough. But on the vegan side, because travel had actually scaled back during the pandemic when we were unable to travel, I wanted to find a way to recreate myself. And then I had started researching about vegan food, how it would relieve inflammation from the body,
Hmm.
from the joints, from my knee surgery, so I could walk better, just feel great and thrive. And I actually tested the waters by cutting out meats for 30 days, and I felt a great difference. My skin cleared up even more, and it's a lot more radiant than it was. And then on top of that, I just felt so much more, I had more energy and I just felt lighter. And so I said, I like the way this is going. So I started getting more creative and in depth about the vegan food. So it was a little bit of both natural and then just learning as I go.
Okay. Now I'm curious, the benefits of going on a vegan or embracing the vegan lifestyle. The and I know about inflammation. I mean, and I'm on a similar journey, though I am not a vegan. I probably could give up meat, but do not tell me to give up my coffee. That will never happen.
You won't
Uh,
hear it from me.
okay, thank you for that. What are the benefits that you have been finding? So you've got reduction of inflammation, your skin, there's more energy. Did you see that this came all at once, or how did this evolve? Because part of it gets back to the doctor. They say, Nicky, you need to lose some weight. Okay, great. How am I going to do that? I don't know. Go see a nutritionist. And you go to talk to a nutritionist. They have your typical food pyramid, which is healthy grains and rices and brown rice.
Mhm.
And from my side of the house, that's bad stuff because that turns to sugar, inflammation, et cetera, et cetera. So the benefits of going vegan, was it all at once? Was it gradual? Were there things that you say something? This was the immediate benefit that I saw. What was that like?
Yeah, so it was immediate almost within the first 30 days. And I literally just about went cold turkey, Howard, because I received that question from so many people. To this day, I don't know how I did it, but I went vegan in May 2020.
Mhm.
And within the 30 days, the immediate changes that I felt was, again, the energy, but also it was the weight loss. It was the weight loss. I was a size 22 at my largest, and now I'm a
I
size
don't know
4.
what that is, by the way, and so you don't have to explain that to me. I know that I have to order 4Xs and 3Xs, but having said that, go for it. Okay.
I'm pretty sure some of your viewers are going to know what I mean by that, but
All right.
so I dropped down several dress sizes, but to be honest with you, I did not go vegan or choose this lifestyle to lose the weight. It was just to feel better about myself.
Sure. Of course.
And in the process, I started noticing, researching, where can I get my protein? That was my main concern, is that I didn't want to have headaches. I still wanted to get my protein. I found out from specific legumes, from chickpeas, I could actually do that, from lentils, things that didn't really contain a lot of sugars in the process. And I started getting real little creative with how I prepared it, from like having chickpea patties to making lentil meatballs, like a meatball sub. It's really tasty, actually.
All right. I live just about 10 miles away, by the way.
Duly noted. I'll keep that in mind. But nonetheless, those were some of the immediate benefits. Also, you and I previously spoke about gut health. So that was really important to me too, is to ensure that I'm promoting gut health. And just as your body changes every 10 years, so things slow down as far as our organs are concerned. And I feel like with my intestine, so the intestinal wall, that's part of it. And I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that I was staying regular in the process. What else changed? Well, my cholesterol definitely went down. My blood pressure is normal. And so the doctors were basically, they saw a difference within 3 to 4 months. And they said, Nikki, what are you doing? And I said, I went vegan. They said, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And they said, keep doing what you're doing, because your blood pressure is normal. Your cholesterol, there's nothing wrong with you whatsoever. I just went for a regular checkup. So I
Okay.
felt like that was my confirmation that I was on the right path to doing what I needed to do for my health.
Okay. Circling back to the comments by the doctors again, are you seeing the same type of internal medicine doctor? Have you switched up the type of doctor that you're visiting who can potentially embrace that lifestyle more than just say, keep doing what you're doing? Or is there some nuance to the type of expertise they have?
Yeah, so actually, I'm a firm believer of basically other type of doctors, holistic doctors
Okay.
out there. I'm a firm believer of, to be honest with you, Howard, I have to check and make sure that my husband's insurance can cover it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get you.
But nonetheless, my primary care physician has been my go-to. I'm not a huge believer in taking medicines, just because of side effects that take place.
Hmm.
So unless it's absolutely necessary to go that route, I will. But I more or less am on onto the holistic doctors, or researching myself to find out how can I heal the body. Now, of
Hmm.
course, I'm not a doctor, but just going out there on the internet, it's a walking or a virtual encyclopedia, if you will.
Right.
There's so much information to say, hey, if you have inflammation in your ankles, I'm not sure if you really knew this, but on TikTok, there's several videos of where you could take onions and literally put them inside of, put your foot or your ankle inside, wherever the inflammation is, take like a rubber band and put it around. Not to say I've tried it before, because I don't want to smell like onions, but there's several videos out there showing that it actually works, where the inflammation goes down. Same with apple cider vinegar.
Oh, I know apple cider vinegar. I have to share, Nikki, you and I know each other, so
Yeah.
I'm going in. I'm going in for this because I
Okay.
can't let it go. I'm
Go for
thinking to
it.
myself, you've got, and we're not editing the video, by the way, because the video is the video. I warned you about that. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking, if you're strapping these onions on your ankles, and I'm thinking you and your husband are in bed, and your husband's saying, honey, I could just eat you up.
Yeah. It's interesting. By choice, I've decided to stick to the apple cider vinegar route.
Sure.
But I tell people, if you like it, I love it, Howard. If
That's
it
good.
works.
That's good. That's good. So let's get back a little bit more to the vegan and the recipes, because I mean, for our listeners, when Nikki and I first met, it was right around the start of the pandemic, February timeframe. And then she had and her husband had been out to Las Vegas. I moved out actually almost 2 years ago this month. It's so hard to believe. But all along the way, Nikki would share photos of what she was making, which was like some unbelievable recipes. And now I'm curious, how are you taking this brand of the vegan lifestyle, the culinarian that you are on the in the vegan side of the house here? How are you incorporating that with your travels? And especially Morocco, Spain, all South America, how is that getting incorporated? Because I think that would be kind of a cool connection right there.
Most definitely. Great question, Howard. So I am looking to integrate my both vegan and travel brand with just highlighting vegan foods from around the world, domestically and internationally. So I have currently visited 25 countries across 6 continents and just crossed off my 49th state to Montana, as we were just talking
All
about
right.
previously. So it's interesting enough. This is a question I have been thinking about. So prior to the pandemic, I have been traveling to these different countries and places. Now that I've been vegan, I have yet to travel to any country since I've been vegan for the past 2 years. I've just been to a lot of different states in which I do highlight different vegan restaurants and vegan chefs within Las Vegas. I've been invited at Ma 32 at the Venetian, where they had a nice vegan spread for January, the month of January, celebrating vegan foods. So my husband and I actually highlighted the different vegan foods, things of that nature. But I am looking to hopefully take an overseas trip, international trip soon, so that I can actually do that. And I want to be able to focus and tell people, if you're vegan, this is basically, these are your option. These are the places within the city or the town that you're in. Or if there's a local grocery store, there's certain products that you can actually, look into. So I like to feature these different type of places on my social media platforms for Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, make them fun, allow people to follow my journey, Howard, and as well as my YouTube subscribers who have expressed to me, we love when you take us on your journey outside of your kitchen as well. So I'm doing more of that as well.
That's fantastic. Now I'm curious, if you were to get on a plane today, go anywhere you want, where would you go first?
Greece.
Greece. I love that. I love Greece.
Yes.
Now, you're going to Greece. How are you going to prepare as the food blogger, the travel blogger, the vegan culinarian? How are you going to prepare for that trip?
The way I prepare for my trip is, so first of all, I actually research and I plan all of my trips. I don't use a travel agent, nothing against travel agents, but I actually will research, of course, where I want to go, the coolest places, what places are Instagrammable, places that are unique, off the beaten path. Let's go beyond Mykonos, the Mykonos Islands, but what's off the beaten path that people would not know about? So I want to be able to be a little bit different in that regard and look and research those places. I will plan and pay for those excursions in advance. And then I may sometimes actually pay for a private tour guide because sometimes I'm a little spoiled, Howard. Let's just call a thing a thing.
I hear you. I hear you. I did that in Turkey. We hired a private guy that said, "Do not take me to a rug store. Do not."
Right. So you feel like you have this person, you feel, even more important, and you get the chance to see things the way that you want to see them, just because you're taking a private tour guide. So I think that I would do that. On top of that, as far as restaurants are concerned, so I picked Greece because of all the great Mediterranean food, which there's a lot of vegan options, from delicious hummus to tabbouleh salads, and just chickpeas and so forth. I can go on and on. And so I would want to be able to contact the restaurants or the chefs in advance to be able to sometimes do an interview with them so they
Okay.
know that I'm coming. And that's how I like to be able to plan out my trips.
No, I love that. And it's interesting. If we get off the beaten path, I think that's when the true adventure really begins. You never know where you're going to end up, and you never know the friendships you're going to make because of getting off that path there. As you
Exactly.
look back on your career, now we haven't chatted much about the career consulting, and that's okay. I mean, you and I have been doing it for years. We're good at what
Mhm.
we do, but we have what I like to affectionately call the side hustle. And I think at one point last year, I was promoting the Side Hustle Saturday, which is, I think, where you and I eventually started to have a conversation, but things evolve, we change. And, but as you look back on this journey that you have been on, what would you say to your younger self about where you're at today versus when you started on your professional journey?
I would tell That's a great question. I would tell my younger self, I'm glad that you're now just be open to eating more vegetables. Don't take anything off the table because when I was younger, and I would say 2 to 3 decades younger, I really strongly loathe eating vegetables, Howard.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
opposite, I love them. I will also tell myself to just remain open-minded and embrace all of that life has to offer to you. I think honestly, 2 to 3 decades ago, a lot similar than I was now because I had always had that adventurous mindset and I didn't set any expectations and I was just open to whatever the world brought to me. And I would tell my younger self not to be afraid of entrepreneurship because now I am a full-fledged entrepreneur
Mhm.
aside from being aside from being a career consultant. I think I thought it was a lot more than what it really needed to be. And it just kind of came naturally, even though I didn't think I would be a good entrepreneur, but I kind of just actually dived right into it.
Yeah, yeah, and I love that. It's just like no planning involved. Just a mentor of mine once shared in her work, and she would share with us, her students, is just keep building the airplane as you fly it. And if you have an
Mhm.
interest, look at it. If you have to make a pivot, you make a pivot, but keep building that airplane, keep flying it. I love that.
Yeah, just keep going. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's who I am today to keep going. I'm not afraid to fail. I love my successes, but I also love my failures because it truly allows me to turn into being who I am. I learn from my past, I learn from my failures, and I just feel like it makes me turn into a better person.
Okay. Now I have a question, and I haven't prepped you with this, or I don't think we have this in the show notes that we're using to prepare. But if somebody comes up to you and that maybe of course, they watch your YouTube video and you're in one of the casinos here and they say, wait a minute, I know you. And they say, Nikki, I really want to become a vegan and I watched all your videos, but where should I go next? Is there some resource that you would recommend to them or a book, or maybe you have a mentor within this new lifestyle that you would recommend they visit? Where would you send them to?
Yeah, that's a great question. So all of the resources that I've actually have taken from has been through the internet from just different authors. Howard,
Okay.
no one really comes to mind,
Okay.
but I would actually tell them to go ahead and research maybe the top 10 vegan chefs, depending on like what they want to specialize in. But I will also tell them to research the foods where you can get your proteins and share out information, just as I mentioned earlier, like your chickpeas or your lentils. I would take them to Pinterest for inspiration because we like visual appealing foods as humans. And so if I'm going to ask them basically, what's your lifestyle like? Do you have time? Are you busy? Do you have a full family? Are you single? Are you looking for easy recipes? That will help me to be able to help them decipher and customize what recipes to be able to kind of look at. So it's basically a conglomerate of different resources that are out there. But in addition to that, I would also strongly recommend they will look into meeting with their physician if they are looking to take on this vegan lifestyle to ensure that there are other options that they want them to take in consideration in case they have pre-existing medical conditions.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Now,
You're
I am
welcome.
curious also, and we have the segment in our shows. We call it the aha moment. And again, you're an accomplished career consultant and an accomplished travel writer, blogger, and now that you've added the vegan flavor to this adventure. What's been your aha moment as you have made? I wouldn't even call it a pivot. It's kind of like a transformation to who Nicole Ellis is. So, what's been that aha moment for you, Nikki?
I would say the aha moment is when I get random messages where I have viewers and subscribers telling me, thank you so much. You have inspired me to change my eating habits. And this is coming from viewers. This is coming from viewers who are non-vegan as well, Howard. I never knew that cooking vegan food can be so fun and versatile the way you make it. Because of you, I decided to make this recipe. I made one of your recipes to my family and they actually loved it. Your instructions, Nikki, were to a T. I followed them to a T and it came out perfect. I have had a woman from the UK contact me that lives in Ireland, from people overseas in Korea to in the States. So I feel like that's my aha moment to confirm that this is a path that I am supposed to explore to share out with other people. I was meant and destined to do this. So it's a lot bigger than my brand, Nicky Savory Vegan Eats, but it's to help other people and promote health and growth and awareness and to educate those who may have a preconceived notion about veganism. I like to let people know we eat more than just rabbit food, just more than lettuce and carrots.
Of course, of course.
Yes.
Since you have been on this new journey, have there been places where your work has shown up, articles or other blogs where you've been invited to contribute?
Yes, yes. So in a short period of time, my vegan brand being born within 2 years, I actually was featured in a article through Shout Out Arizona. So it's an online magazine. So there is a full article on me and being vegan as a vegan culinarian as well as travel blogger. In addition to that, the Las Vegas News Journal, there is a section on me where there's talking points, and actually a reporter contacted me. It's a very big article talking about how the veganism movement is trending in Las Vegas. And so basically they featured and talked about my vegan fried catfish video that currently has over 20,000 hits since I created the video 1 year ago.
Wait a minute. You said vegan fried catfish.
Vegan fried catfish,
Do you
yes.
still eat fish?
It's not fish.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes, it's vegan fried catfish using banana blossoms.
Oh my.
Yeah, so banana blossoms, they actually come from this purplish ripe part of the banana. So if you go somewhere tropical like Hawaii or the Caribbean, you look at the banana trees, if you look towards the top, you usually see the purplish, ripish area. They don't taste like bananas. They actually take on the flavor of what you season them with. So I just prepare them out accordingly. And I've actually received a lot more followers because of that article that was featured about my vegan fried catfish.
All right. Got the quote marks going.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, and I'm sharing this with you now, Nikki, is I am a very opportunistic podcaster. I am not going to ask you again to stop by my place with a dish, but what I would ask you for is if you have some photos, not just of you, of the dish itself, but of you in this element of you cooking that we could share in our website show notes. I would love a couple pictures that we could share. I think that'd be fantastic.
Most definitely. I'm willing to share that for sure. And I wanted to also share, and just to go back to the aha moment, the other aha moment, Howard, is now where my entrepreneurial spirit has really kicked in is I haven't even fully advertised my vegan brand. And I am now cooking plates and meal prepping for clients throughout Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Who are vegan and non-vegan. So I am getting paid to do that. And I have existing clients.
That is fantastic. And now will you have well, we're going to talk about the web pages, but do you have the place where they can go to learn more about that as well?
That actually is in the making. I'm looking to basically update it, but it is definitely in the making. But if people stay tuned to my social media platforms, I'll be able to share that information.
All right. I love it. I love it. The airplane is being built, and it's not just a little biplane. It's a big jumbo jet or a fighter. Now, before we head out, and I have a couple other questions I wanted to ask, but let's circle back to the husband. How's he enjoying this adventure with you, especially the vegan cooking adventure?
Oh, he's been quite supportive and it's been awesome. And like I said, initially, I never asked him, nor did I coerce him into going vegan. And so I knew that this was my path and journey. He has enjoyed the foods. I have to admit, initially, he was a little bit leery and just wondering how it would taste. But he actually liked the food to the point he would take it to work and he would share with his coworkers. And now they're following me on my YouTube channel and social media platforms. So my husband eats quite a bit of the vegan food that I actually make and prepare, not just because he's married to me, but he actually
Okay.
enjoys it.
All right. All right. And one last little question. When are you making those meatballs again?
I will
That's a,
keep it posted, Howard.
uh,
So I kind of already know you've hinted around. They're like you live in a 10-mile radius. So I will keep that in mind so I can let you know.
sounds good. Hey, I'll tell you what, you make the meatballs. I'll trade you water key for grains. All right.
All right. I like
That's a,
that barter
that,
system.
that,
I'll definitely
that's a,
keep that in mind.
I love bartering. So before we head out, one final segment we have is called the Insight to Go. What's that final piece of advice? Could be another article, a book, a quote that you would want to share with our listeners, because it really encompasses the journey you've been on. And if individuals would listen and perhaps contemplate what this means to them, they can then begin to shift in their own journeys. What would that insight to go be?
So as of late, there's several books that I want to be able to read a little bit more into. So again, I don't have any one particular author. So I would say for me, it's been just other great vegan food influencers from Instagram and from TikTok, from some of those social media platforms and YouTube. Basically, put in your key and buzzwords if you're looking for 10-minute meals, 10-minute meals or less, or you're looking for something with more green, then you will actually be able to be surprised as to how many resources will come up available. There's a lot of resources out there. A lot of people are just doing great demos and showing you to a T how to be able to create those dishes so that you can get creative in your own kitchens.
Fantastic. And that's exactly what happened when I decided I wanted to start making water kefir, is do a Google search and you kind of see the ones you like and you see the ones at whatever. And now you're on a journey. I love that. Now, before we let you go, if our listeners would like to learn more about you and your work, where are the best places for them to go and visit?
Most definitely. Definitely my YouTube channel, Nicky's Savory Vegan Eats, and that's Nicky apostrophe S. Facebook, same thing. I have my own Facebook page. My Instagram is at the @ with Nicky's _ savory _ vegan eats. And then TikTok, same thing as well.
All right, fantastic. Well, we will definitely provide the backlinks to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. By the way, I'm going to be talking to you further about TikTok because I'm probably going to put a couple pieces of this episode up on TikTok. So there, Nicky, it's been a pleasure to have you join us on the Small Business Series on the Success Insight podcast. And again, I love working with you. I mean, we don't work face to face. I think we were together for a week.
Yeah.
And then with COVID, we are now virtual. You're 10 miles away, et cetera. But we see each other a couple times a month. But it's been a pleasure to really go deeper into this side of your lifestyle and really all that you have accomplished in this space. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to chat with us on the Small Business Series on the Success Insight podcast.
Howard, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed pulling up with you on Success Insight, and I wish you nothing but the best throughout your podcast series.
Thank you so much. Listen, stay on the line. We're going to do a quick close and then you and I can have a final chat. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, folks. I mean, look, if you ever thought about travel, if you ever thought about veganism being, how do I go vegan? What are the dishes? How am I going to eat? Well, you need to check out Nicole Ellis, or as she likes to be called, Nicky. She's the ultimate vegan food YouTuber. She's the founder of Nicky's Savory Eats, and she's all over social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and we're going to provide all those backlinks for you. But again, if you ever thought or contemplated going on this kind of a journey, this is the best place to be, is by visiting and learning more about Nicky and her work. And really, I've had the pleasure of seeing some of what she has made, and I tell you, when I see those pictures, I could see my mouth is watering, and so I'm getting hungry. In fact, I'm hungry right now. But do check her out on her social sites and really embrace the journey that she has been on. I mean, there were some trials and tribulations, some physical issues. Yes, she overcame those, but more importantly, she took it upon herself to make the change she wanted to see in the world for herself, her lifestyle, her health. And now she not only is influencing her husband, but she's influencing people around the world. And how cool is that? So do check her work out. Now, if you enjoyed today's episode of the Small Business Series on the Success Insight podcast, visit us on our webpage, successinsightpodcast.com. We're also on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and we are on all of the podcasting platforms. All you have to do is search for Success Insight Podcast. And wherever you get your podcast episodes from, like it, share it, comment on it. If you've tried one of Nicky's recipes that you found, let us know what you thought. And we want to hear all about it. Okay, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there, have a phenomenal day, and we will see you on a future episode of the Small Business Series on the Success Insight Podcast. Take care now.
Success Insight is a production of Fox Coaching and First Story Strategies. Find us online, successinsightpodcast.com.